Well, I need to figure out how to turn off the top banner. Summit, where is it? Is it up there? It's on the little other side. I'm not gonna lie, gamers. I don't exactly feel happy today. Don't really have any specific goal for today's stream or anything. Just meandering around. I have no idea what that's for. It is a trinket. Yeah, I guess that no one showed up to Rando again. So welcome on in, Sam. How you doing today? Sorry. I'll get it sometime. By gum. First try. I've seen a Graceborn mod going around. It's not finished yet, from what I understand. They've got a bunch of new weapons in, but the game itself hasn't been changed very much, other than, like, aesthetics. And, they of course have the rally system and whatchamacallits from Bloodborne in there. Which is pretty cool. I might give it a look sometime. Especially since this mod seems to be running dry on new things to look at. Mostly looking around for any little trinkets I may have missed. Here's one. Yeah, I'm getting kind of bummed. People not showing up constantly. I know this has been a thing that's been going on for like a year now, or possibly more. Where the weekly randos we've been doing people just don't show up to them anymore. And like, I don't hold it against anyone. Yeah, Rosari's basically the last person that was showing up regularly. Even then, he only shows up like half the time at best. Part of the reason why I poke him so much, trying to get him coming along, but Rosaria aside, there's just like, we no longer have like 6 to 8 man randos where everyone is all working together to get things done, because like the more people in a randomizer, the more fun it is. But people stopped showing. They all silently went their own way. And I have to keep wondering if it's something I did or said or something. I try to be a good host. I try to get people encouraged to play randomizers, because this is like the only social interaction I even get to have. But I do feel rather self-conscious when people just don't want to have anything to do with me anymore. I never went to the dungeon over here, did I? I mean, not that anyone would know, since I played this mostly offline. Fire. Supposed to be a greaser in here somewhere. Maybe. Oh no, you don't. Get back here. I just have a small bit of a headache today. And on the bright side, Pal World 1.0 hits live this week in 4 days. So it should be Friday. But speaking of the long terms, randomizers, I might just stop posting them altogether. Whoa, the meow even. I'll at least be playing Pal World on Friday. Probably gonna look into more Elden Ring mods. Like, I'll try out that Graceborn mod. I'll probably try to find an Elden Ring randomizer. And we might just go about our way collecting. Not collecting. Forget where I was going with this. Basically, I'll just be doing like one-man randos, I guess. Since no one really seems to care to do them with me. Alright, that's it. Don't shit in your pants. headspace. Fair enough. Howdy, Wazza. Beautiful. Huh. Force Transport Boss Fight Simulator. Goes okay, I suppose. I'm just dinking around. Because I don't really have anything planned out today. Other than what I already had planned out. So I didn't want to not stream. So I just wound up doing Elden Ring since I already had it set up for it anyway.
Oh, there you are. Have you heard? Along the dark, it would not have been as Lady Rani's war. You and my purpose. I've served Lady. It has been a long. Now, Lady, I pray that you serve Lady Rani along the dark path of Imperium. Now, Lady Rani, I pray that. very big. I could never betray her. No matter what might happen. Ronnie. She needs me.
Ow. Goofy. Ow. Ower. No kisses! One second. I don't think that counted. Oh no, it did. Pyrrhic victory, I guess. Howdy Boodle, how you doing today? Move on, there's people around. It's true, I am around people. Way to go, Beatles. Bitch. Tree seal. Or. Dog. Yeah. In conclusion, my hocus is not pocus today. Everything wants to give me huggy wuggies today. 110 stream streak. Well, I'm pretty sure you've been watching every time I stream for the past 2 years at least. Super what? Y'all heard of the things Sony is planning on doing with PlayStation? Sounds like they're trying to commit suicide. Getting rid of physical purchases. It's going to be digital only. They're going to be putting a focus on AI of all things. Speedrunning self-destruction, pretty much. And they haven't been putting out, like, really any games for the past few years. Like, the PS5 has, like, nothing on it. You got the Demon Souls remake, and, God of War Ragnarok at best, if you like the modern God of War games. But that's it. And, it really does come off as they have zero idea what they're doing. Especially, they bought Bungie for $1 billion. And they, one, made Marathon, a game no one wanted. Two, shut down Destiny 2, the game people were still playing, in the game that people wanted more stuff in to have more reason to keep playing. Or at the very least a Destiny 3. Instead, they got rid of the Destiny team, shut down Destiny 2, and were like, okay, now play Marathon. And people were like, no! And then they just like, oh, well, Marathon's not making any money, let's shut down the studio. And so they're running Skeleton Crew now, and it's fascinating. It's like, how do you... Like, it's one thing to, like, finance something like Concord. A few $100 million down the flusher on a game nobody asked for that came out a decade late and was frankly revolting to look at and was just not well thought out. And then they just keep making decision after decision like that. And like Marathon, its art style is not very pleasing either. But like, I don't hate it, but it can be a bit garish on the eyes, especially if it's meant to be a game that's supposed to be played repeatedly over like extended periods of time. Plus the fact that that art style was literally stolen assets from somebody, which they got sued for. It is astounding that they think they have any dick large enough to swing around, being like, well, you're going to buy digital and like it, so we can take away your purchases at any time. Because they've been going on a purge of people's purchases again, by the way, where they've done it before in the past, where they just wiped movies from people's accounts, and they're doing it again. They think they can just push this around, and they're so all in on this that they're already like converting their like factories for disc production into other things. They're delusional. Like, if I was a shareholder for Sony, I would probably be suing them for being effectively trashing the brand in rapid self-destruction. Like, what the hell are you doing with our money? You're making the worst decisions possible. But anyway, I feel all the more validated as being someone who buys physical first, basically. Because, like, I've always been, like, I prefer having physical because, like, one, I won't always have access to the internet, two, I can just bring my movies and games wherever I go, three, I just like having physical medium. And now it's like extra so, okay, now these corporations are ripping off the very poorly fit mask that they had on. Where they're going, okay, now you'll own nothing and like it, oh, you paid us $100 for this game and all its DLC? Well, sorry, Buck, we feel like we want more money. Oh, you're not playing this new game that nobody wants, that's just AI-generated slop content? Well, it's either that or nothing, Bucko. We just deleted your library. And it's amazing. And anytime I see someone commenting, oh, we let this happen as consumers, I just have to go, what do you mean, we? I did not know such thing. I think I have only ever bought one game digitally on PS4, and that was the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game that's on it, because it was for like the whole game for $5. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Plus, I don't think that ever got a physical release. I think it's called The Eyes of Heaven. The game where you're collecting the body parts of Jesus. Because for those who don't know, in the JoJo universe, Jesus is a JoJo. If I have more trinkets for another perk. I don't know, it just feels like I accepted none of the blame for bad business practices that got rewarded, and it just led to worse and worse things. Like when DLC was first majorly being pushed around, I refused to buy DLC. Because I was like, you either sell me the whole game, or you can fuck off. Which is why, like, I have the physical versions of Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and Bloodborne in the Game of the Year edition versions, where it has the DLC included. I have those. And if you're wondering if about Bloodborne having a Game of the Year edition, it only came out in Europe and Japan. America didn't want to have a Game of the Year edition, I guess. I don't know why. But I have the physical disc version, and it's, you know, region-free PS4. So it works. But anyway, let's go to the DLC, shall we? And yeah, I don't have the physical version of Elden Ring. But when I got Elden Ring, I wasn't even sure I was going to like it. So I waited on a Steam sale to get it for a much more affordable price. And it turns out it's my most favorite Souls game ever created. So, mission accomplished, I guess. Yeah, good. And I do kind of want to get the Switch 2 version, The Tarnished Edition, as it's called. I always found this guy to be probably the hardest of the jails, or whatever you want to call them. These like mini mausoleum boss fights. You gotta be careful if he uses his gun, by the way. It really hurts if you let it get you. But yeah, I don't really like the DLC practices, but it's such a part of everything now that it's almost impossible to fight. But I still don't care to buy DLC unless it's like a game I really like Elden Ring. And I feel like the devs deserve it for doing such a good job with the game. Example of a game that I didn't buy the DLC for: Resident Evil 2 Remake. I don't like that game, and I feel like they purposely did the infinite ammo DLC just because the enemies in that game are absurdly tanky. Like, they require like 2 full things of ammo to kill, and it's up to RNG if your headshots will actually even count as a headshot. So not only do you have to physically aim and hit the head, but it's up to a dice roll if they will count. Which I found to be absolute bullshit, and there's like not enough ammo in the game to actually kill most of the stuff. Which is not how the original Resident Evil 2 was at all. And I don't say that with nostalgia blinders, because I played the remake first. But yeah, I don't like that remake. And I especially don't like what the hell they did to Claire's face. Like, Claire had a more pointed face, but in RE2 Remake, they gave her, like, cherubic face with giant eyes, and I'm just like, why? And I don't feel like it's part of the modernisms in gaming where people are purposely making female characters hideous on purpose. I don't feel like that's what they were going for. I feel more like it's... I don't know. Honestly, it just feels weird. Is basically what I'm getting at. Like, she does not look like herself. Like, look at any of her iterations, because, like, Claire Redfield has never been a sexualized character. At all. So, it can't be that they want to unsexualize her. Is one of the things I'm getting at. But, of course, in Resident Evil 2 Remake, I feel like a lot of the changes they made and the way the game is set up is more performative than it is actually understanding why things are the way they are. Like, the helicopter crashing into RPD is just, it comes out of nowhere, there's no explanation, it doesn't serve anything. The reason why it crashes? Because it crashed in the original. And that's it. Why is Mr. X there? Oh, no reason. He's there because he was there in the original. And the two campaigns being super samey is, from what I have been told, it's because the game originally wasn't even going to have two campaigns. They were just going to have it like swap back and forth between Claire and Leon, but people pitched a fit about it, so they added a Claire and Leon A and B, except they didn't really go beyond that. Anyhow, there's a lot of bad practices these days, and I take no responsibility for any of it. So when some people is like, oh, we did this, fuck off, you did this. I have no stake or claim in this battle. Punishment is something you wrought upon yourselves. Maybe that's why people don't like me. I'm just bitter all the time. I don't feel incorrect in my bitterness, but I am bitter.
Fie.
Like my coffee.
Treading the men, as that woman would surely so understand. The Earth Tree is my people's enemy. By Marika, I believe Miquella's apologies, but never will I see your kind. And yet, if Miquella it is who you would seek, these are the sights. I urge you, as long as you abide by his. I urge you, as long as you.
Ah, Lady Leda spoke of you. You're that tarnished. Guided here by kindly Miquella. Won't we all? I am Freya. I once fought alongside General Radahn. In battle, you can be sure I'll hold my own. Oh, another thing. Did you speak to our powerless friend? If you've yet to do so, have him give you a map of the Cross's whereabouts. You'll find more of them dotted about these lands. They are Miquella the Kind's footprints. If you've yet to do so, be sure, assuming you would.
You must be the Tarnished. I am Ansbach. Formerly in service to Lord Moog, but now, like you, another soul guided by kindly Miquella. I'm hardly the steady hand I once was. My fighting days are far behind me, which is why I have chosen to dedicate myself to investigation, to discern tender Miquella's ultimate purpose. I'd rather not volunteer service to a new master unless I know that I can be of use. May I 6 crosses identical to this, they are akin to tender Miquella's footprints, or gravestones. If you discover any more crosses, be certain to tell me. I presume you, too, are keen to know just what kind Miquella is doing here. If you discover, be certain to tell. I presume you just what.
Hello there. Together, we work. Together, for Miquella the Kind. Many things we have found. I, for you, things. I, for you, things. Goodbye.
Blue skidoo, you can too. I do feel self-conscious about whining and complaining all the time. But on the same token, I don't feel unjustified in doing so. I don't know, I guess it's like the boiling pot theory, where I see the pot being turned up by these corporations, and I'm like, whoa, watch out, that guy is cranking up the pot. And then people look and the guy's like, what? No, I would never do that. Surprise mechanics. And then everybody just shrugs and looks away, and then they start turning up the heat again. And, well, I don't know. I guess, as always, the Bible has good advice for such a thing. Kick the dust off your shoes and just go your own way. You spoke your piece. Or in this case, I spoke my piece long ago. Nobody listened. And now they suffer for their own inadequacies and foolishness. Not that I'm an all-knowing wise man or anything. But, as the saying goes, call a spade a spade. I guess similarly, I feel the same way about how Souls games have come around. People are now complaining that the games are too actiony now. And I'm just like, yeah, they've been going that way for a long while, pal. I didn't like it when they started. And, well, Elden Ring is kind of the natural conclusion of that. No one to blame but yourself. You could have went, I don't like how fast and flaily these bosses are getting. I like it better when I can properly react. But instead, people are like, yes, more spastic attacks that one-shot you, please. And then we have Radon with his screen nukes. So, like, again, it's you asked for this and you got what you wanted. And now you found out you don't want it at all. Anyway, long story short, I feel vindicated for my desire to have physical medium. Or media, plural. That said, I don't think we can't live in a world where both the slower, more methodical Dark Souls games can exist with the faster-paced ones, like Elden Ring and Bloodborne. Both can exist. Both are good in their own ways. I've said it a bajillion times, and I'll say it a bajillion and one more. Dark Souls... Well, Elden Ring is basically if Dark Souls 3 was actually fun. And good. Is they took the ideas they had in Dark Souls 3 and they evolved them. Polish things up. They sped the players up, gave the players much more stuff they can do as a moveset. So instead of Dark Souls 3, where your attacks are sluggish, but your enemies are just relentless and flailing all over the place, you have your enemies are like actually reasonable for the most part. Like there are some the tougher enemies that are, of course, a little more difficult to deal with. Like the Twin Sword, Banished Knight ghosts, and the whatchamacallit, horn-sent dancers that you can find here in the DLC. I can show you one right quick. to run over this way. Yummers. That's so hard. Or is it on the other side of this ruin? Now I'm starting to lose my bearings. Anyways, here's one of them. One gave Torrent the cheese touch. Do you remember? Chicken leg. I still don't get people's complaints about the DLC. Like, oh no, I have to collect fragments in order to get stronger so I can beat bosses. Like, you weren't already doing that in the main game, collecting smithing stones in order to power up your weapons. You weren't collecting golden seeds and dewdrops to power up your flasks. You weren't collecting equipment. You weren't doing anything involving exploring and collecting items to make you more prepared for the battles to come. No. It's not like they put Margit at the Storm Castle's entrance to basically tell players to fuck off and get stronger and come back later. No. It totally wasn't something that's a mechanic that's base kit to the game, but they basically made it in a one-shoe-fits-all for bettering yourself in the DLC, where it's like, instead of just making everything do impossible levels of damage like we used to in DLCs, well, how about we give players an actual option of getting progressively stronger so that they can have a similar sense of progression through the DLC like they did with the base game. But no, that never happened, right? Absolute clown behavior. Like, there's some complaints I can understand, like, saying, like, the boss, like, Radon is, a little bullshit, and I entirely agree. Radon is kind of bullshit. But it's when they complain about something that's basically just what they've always been doing. Just feel like they're trying to latch onto any sort of complaints they can. We already have that joking %. And like the sad part is, you don't strictly need to get the Shadow Tree fragments. They're completely optional collectible, like any collectible is in the game. There are plenty of people out there who beat the game at level 1, no Shadow Tree fragments. Like, it's not an impossible task. And people saying, oh, you have to go do this in order to beat bosses. You don't. You really don't. You could just do what you're supposed to do with all Souls games. It's the motto that everyone says. Get good. Like, people thinking the game's bad because, like, the Erdtree Sentinel that's you encounter right as soon as you exit the tutorial dungeon is too strong for them. They're like, oh, this game sucks. I'm just like, are you fucking retarded or something? It's not the dev's fault if you bash your head against the wall. They purposely put things like that to, one, be a challenge to be overcame by people who actually want to do that, overcome great challenges against all odds, but also to show, hey, not everything you come up to you're going to be able to take out as soon as you meet it. So go explore. Go do things. Get better. Get stronger. Find new weapons. Try new tactics. After all, it is an open world. You come in here and you go up to the Storm Beast, and the Storm Beast is like too strong for you. You don't fall over and pitch a fit.
Things bring.
Fun fact: the Holy Proof pickled liver is
Goodbye.
worse than the Holy Proof dried liver because of an error. They made the Holy Proof dried liver give you 35 holy defense, whereas the normal dried livers just give you 15 of each of the elemental defenses. And in the DLC, the pickled livers are supposed to give you plus 25 to the respective element, but the 35 of the dried liver is going to be superior to the 25 of the pickled one. Are these different kinds? Nope, they're still spider scorpions. Or not. What is my weapon? It's a Ripple Crescent Halberd. It's just with the mod I can change the color of it, so it's a little bronzish. It's normally supposed to be silver like it shows in the icon. I still think the most annoying complaint I've heard about the game are the people that say that there are too many bonfires clustered together. Like, oh, they're everywhere. But the person that showed it off was like showing something off like this. What they specifically showed was the Tower of Mesmer, but they're like, oh, look at this, there's 4 things right next to each other, when, like, this is one. a big dungeon. 2, there's a thing at the beginning, thing in the middle, thing at the end, and then the boss, which is kind of just hard baked into the thing. And like the bosses having graces is the same thing as Dark Souls 3 having bonfires. It's just a thing they put in. Like in Dark Souls, I can say Dark Souls 3 has too many bonfires close together and show a screenshot of me being at the bridge bonfire with the library bonfire being like literally visible from the same spot and vice versa. But it's not like that's an exception and not the norm for 1 and 2. The map does not show like depth. Like there's like the Tower of Mesmer that one doofus showed off. The tower is a tower. It is massive in height. So them being around this like circle altogether, yeah, it's kind of that way because there's, you know, like 100 floors worth of space, I guess. There's like a bonfire in the bottom, in the middle, and at the top, and at the boss room. It kind of is how it goes. Like, yeah, there's a bonfire, like, right here, and a bonfire right here through a short walk. But also, this is kind of like a central point that you're going to be coming back into. And also, if you die, do you really want to just be walking through that same hallway again just to get back to the hub? Oh. Plus, this is like an access to a shop. And a quest NPC into, well, 2 quest NPCs actually. And you don't want to have to warp to this one and then walk all the way back out just to talk with them. Like, that's annoying. Like, there are some spots where there's a bit too many, but it's far and few between. Like, the only real example I can think of where I'm like, wow, this is like really close to another bonfire, is when there was the bonfire in front of the Godric. When the lift bonfire was like just 2 rooms away. That's like the only instance I can think of where I'm like, yeah, this is kind of unnecessary because there's not really any real reason for it. And the like it's basically like the only one I feel is completely unnecessary. Every other bonfire feels fine. As best I can describe it. Plus a lot of the bonfires that you see scattered throughout the world. Like, yeah, you can go, oh wow, there's so many bonfires all around this lake. Well, 1, again, big. 2, you've got... Heck off. The adults are talking. Anyway. This is when you first come out of the tutorial dungeon. It is showing you how to follow the thing, which leads you to where the tree sentinel is. And you can decide what to do with them. Whether you avoid or tackling. There's this, which is like your first shop NPC, and he has some important things to tell you that points you to the next way, which is over here. Which, yeah, isn't that far away if you're wanting to be all bad about it. But this is like the tutorial. So, of course, they're going to be a little generous. And this bonfire, again, this is because of the system of where bosses spawn a campfire when they die. But, like, as you get further away, bonfires, they look like they're close, but they're kind of not at the same time. Because some of these bonfires aren't very easy to notice. And they tend to be around points of interest. Because again, remember, this is an open world game, so they take into account that not everybody's going to notice every bonfire. Which is also, in my personal theory, why they repeat so many bosses. Some more than others, and that I don't really like, but other than the big bosses, save for one, they don't really recycle like the big bosses. But the minor bosses, there's at least 2 copies of in the game. Like, Astel is an infamous one. Anyway. That's it for today. See you Friday for Pal World. Strengthen character. Level up. More HP. Alright, peace, love, dope.